growing up in like suburbs. I'm Asian, right? And all the kids are watching that kind of stuff, right? And it's like and I'm like, listening to like punk rock, right?
Yeah,
and doing my thing, right? It has nothing to do with who I am, and so. But then when you go out in the world, your white friend will come and go, hey, hiya, buddy, gotcha. I was watching, that shit Sunday, man. Buddy, what you doing? You know what I mean? And they'll come up to you and do that stuff, and you're like, whoa, dude, that fucking hurt. Don't do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing, right? Or it's like, you walk into a classroom and your other friend will go, hey, everybody, watch Bobby's coming in, right? You walk in, they go, gong, right? And they'll all go, na 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 na,
right?
And they laugh, and I have a mohawk. You know what I mean?
You're listening to the class.
Yeah, I'm listening to the class. Yeah, I have a Susie in the Backstreet shirt.
I know you got a pocket full of meth.
Yeah. I'm going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And like you live in this world.
Here's my question for you, Bobby. So up until recently, like making fun of Asian people was kind of like it wasn't looked at the same as how you would make fun of anyone else. Like it was kind of like the easy one, and because it was like non-threatening in a way. It was like, and then you kind of think the idea is like Asians are doing okay. They got their own towns and shit right here so it's okay to be like, Asians got a little dick or Asian this and Asian that. But I feel like there's been a real big culture shift now that it's like it's on the same level now as making a black joke or making you know what I mean? Making a Jewish joke.
I think a lot of the younger generation just isn't putting up with it anymore. Like, isn't that what it is? Like,
I'm about to bring up a topic that's a little uncomfortable, but I have to bring it up. Is, I've been struggling with what happened to Tony. Hinchcliffe. Have we talked about? I don't think we've ever talked about it.
I've never addressed it yet.
And I've been literally struggling with it because on one hand, I understand what he was doing. Did you see the video?
Yes. And did you see the whole video? Did you get the full context of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have my opinion on it myself too.
Yeah. My opinion is, I saw a comic, a friend of mine, a male comic who's straight, bring up a gay guy on stage the other night and go, one more time for the
F word.
The F word. Yeah. Right? And they both laughed, right? And then the gay comic will say something about the straight comic, you know what I mean? Yeah, that guy sucks dick, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
They had a rapport.
They have a rapport, right? And there's a culture there. It's like, I've done it. Like, I used to have Doc Willis open for me sometimes. And I would say something like, Gary Coleman, you thought he was dead, but he's not, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then he says something back, and it's just a part of, like, that thing. And I think that with what Tony went through, right, there's a lot of that in there, right?
Because they know each other.
They know each other.
But it was presented as if he was some random Asian comic
guy
that he didn't even know,
right?
And he just did that. No, and that's what I took offense to that.
Yeah. Well, you took offense to what?
I took offense to how that was blown out of proportion against Tony.
Yeah.
Now, in this culture, it's like, all right, do you really think that was the way to do that? But even still, that's his style. The roast battle, the kill Tony, the stuff that happens during that thing, that guy is a part of that. Mm-hmm. And the guy was doing hacky-ass jokes about white people before that. That was the context of why he was what he was saying.
And that's why it got the laugh that it did.
That's why people laughed.
Right. I struggle with it.
I get it, though.
I struggle with it because I also am like, I'm very pro-Asian. And I also grew up in comedy where I was bullied a lot in terms of, in the 90s, I was the only one at the clubs, right? So I would get a lot of like white. Is this not interesting to you?
No, it's super interesting.
Oh, yeah. You were drifting apart. Thank you.
Can I get a Kleenex while we're in this little
He's got booger. So I was like in the 90s, I was, you would have
No, bitch. I got
allergies.
Yeah.
I have a Benadryl if you want.
You would have comics say to your face, "Yo, man, Asians aren't funny. Get out of here," or whatever. Right? You had that kind of sentiment, right? And it's like, so I'm the type of guy that like when that happens, I don't give up. I go, I'll show you. You'll get it. You'll see. So I get both sides, but I think in Tony's case, it was more of a comedy thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a culture and a And I get when people that aren't in comedy see just certain clips of that where it could look like real. And at first, I didn't see the full thing. I just saw one little. I didn't know their
looked
relationship.
bad.
So I was mad. Bro.
Yeah.
I was livid. But now that I've like kind of explored it and understood it, right? I go, you know what? I'm giving Tony.
Well, it's layered, man.
It's layered.
It's layered because there's just many different points in here. One, that shouldn't have been recorded and released. Okay, so that was some clout chasing bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Did he have someone in the crowd do that?
Yes.
He had his friend. I think.
Okay, so that's the number one. The fact that it was released. But when if we're having a conversation, like even some of the stuff we were talking about before we were on air for this, if that somehow got released, we know we don't mean bad, but we would have to apologize for when things get out, it gets out. So you have to apologize for that because of how it makes people feel.
Right.
Okay, so that's that part of it. The other part of it is like that kid put that out in a way that made Tony look like he didn't even know him.
Yeah.
And he just did this out of the blue.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it all went away, because when the full context came out, all of a sudden, all that talk about we got to cancel him and this is terrible.
Also, but I just want to say this is all of it, right? The performance when we podcast and we do live shows and stuff, right? It's a show.
Word.
Yeah.
It's just a show. People take it literally. They pick it apart, this and that. We're just trying to entertain people.
And by the way, and even on that line, in that vein, I think the problem with podcast is, you know, people think they know you because of this.
Yeah.
And you especially, Bobby, you're so vulnerable and open on these things. And then there's so much of it that is like your performance, and so much of it is like it blends together. So these fans think they know what's going on.
Yeah.
They think they know. So then like anything we've had, like when we have like where people think it's a beef.
Yeah.
You know,
There's no beef.
There's no beef. So all day on my damn Twitch, I got to get people every day. Oh, this is why Bobby doesn't play with you. This is why Bobby.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I have to have a command. It's a command Bobby. So my mods know. So when somebody asks about Bobby, command Bobby comes up and it goes. It goes, here's where you could DM him.
Yeah.
Your moderator said that.
I had my moderator set it up because
Wow.
what I'm just trying to put out there to people is like they don't know. And I tell people, you're not privy to our relationship all the time. Like they weren't with us for an hour sitting at the taco place having a good talk.
Yeah,
they don't need to know everything. But the thing is, they think they know everything.
Also,
because of this.
That
Tiny bits and pieces,
Yes.
not the whole picture.
Not the whole picture.
But also that version of us because we talked about it even.
Yeah.
At the taco place, it's like if they recorded that conversation and put it, people would just rip it apart and go, "Fuck, this is so boring," right?
I know.
Oh, right. It's the most boring thing.
It's innocuous.
We
It's
both
like
fell asleep at lunch. It was just falling asleep because we listened to each other's because we're literally talking about like real things
Real
about
life.
life and feeling and this and that, right? And then we come up here and everything's like a show.
boom. We
It's a
gotta like.
show.
I gotta.
Yeah.
You,
It's a show.
Yeah.
It's not.
shit ain't real, bitches.
It's not real.
Lala doesn't wear lingerie.
This is a fucking show.
It's a show, baby. Please.
It's a show.
It's
Wait,
a
I'm
show.
sorry. It's a what?
It's a show.
There's the new Tiger Belly meme right there.
Yeah.
This is honestly.
Put it on hip hop though. It's a shut.
But this whole thing that I'm doing now is a good comparison to what you just said, which is like this shit is not real. Like Krusty Kalila is real.
That's real for real.
Like that's real, but we're gonna put on a different version of ourselves
Yeah.
and exaggerate and embellish. And honestly, it does get us in trouble once in a while. But I hope to God people have common sense to know that it's like it's just not
You know what
real.
though? You know what though? I agree with you. We want people to have common sense, but what I enjoy about this platform is I don't give a fuck. Because you know why? We get to come back the next episode and say some more stuff about it. And if we need to talk about it again, we can keep doing it.
Yeah.
So the people that are like, ooh, I can't believe they said this, we can come back and go, don't take me out of context.
Yeah.
We get a chance, an opportunity to like continue the conversation. And I think that's why podcasting is the best. And that's why it can't be stopped. because all those like cancel culture trolls and all that stuff, they're gonna keep trying to come, and we're just gonna be like,
Yeah, but
do it.
it's funny because I have a lot of comics though who didn't do the podcast thing that say to me, you know that thing's gonna die eventually.
Podcasting.
Oh yeah. They get like they
I
kind
think it's Betamax.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got it in right around the right time. If I got into it right now, because it's gonna die in a couple of years anyway. You know what I mean? And you're like, and they try to like, kind of dig at you, like and it's like I don't think so.
But also, it's like,
And if it does, it does. But
who's to say we're not going to jump on the next form of media in our own way?
Yeah.
yeah, George, get on it. Whatever the next one is. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But exactly, man. But I think what the thing we have to get to a point as we've gotten older, Bobby, is like we don't need when we're right, we don't need these people to say we're right. We just need to be okay with being right, and that's the hardest thing to do.
You're gonna make me cry right now.
I'm just saying.
You've been saying some Morpheus shit today, man.
That's a good point.
You've
That was
been
very
saying some
Morpheus.
Morpheus shit today, man. For me, like I like Morpheus shit, and it's like you've been very clear today, even at the little lunch that we had. But you're right. You're absolutely right.